If you're into this and you're into gaming, then you're gonna be into this. This is the latest SSD from Seagate, the Seagate Lightsaber Star Wars collection. Now to be fair, here, Luke, hold this. When they sent this at first, I actually thought it was an external SSD because Seagate has long been branding their externals, normally for video games for Xbox and PS5. This is an entirely different beast, though, well beyond our expectations, and is one of the coolest internal SSDs we've ever seen, and it's not just because of the lightsaber. Well, it's mostly because of the lightsaber, but this is pretty sweet. This is officially licensed by Disney, and what it does is it lets you swap out these little face plates on the LED light-up box underneath. You just slide this guy off, and we can take the Darth Vader off and switch to either Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now the heatsink is special in its own. That's designed by EK Water Blocks, and though it's not water cooled, those guys have a long heritage in designing cooling systems for HPC systems, high-end PCs, and everything in between. This is the first time we've seen their cooling block show up for an SSD, but this one's really neat too. So if we take the cover back off, you can see that the light bar here is underneath, and we'll plug this in and show you what that looks like. There's a little extra power port on the back, so it does need external power. Of all the things to complain about, that's one teeny tiny nit, but otherwise this thing is really cool. It'll match your light scheme in your gaming rig, and so if you want to be feeling Vader-y, you can have the whole thing red, but it also supports a little bit of pulsation, and there's some other things that make it feel like the lightsaber is engaging, which is an important side note. When you put these brackets on, there is sort of an up and a down for the hilt of the lightsaber to get the optimal lighting configuration in your rig. So the LEDs on the lightsaber will pick up on the color scheme that you're using to manage the LED control in your rig. So that means if you want Luke Skywalker's lightsaber to be blue or green or red, you can make it happen. It's going to be entirely determinant on what you have set up in your LED controller. It's not inherent to the drive in itself or the faceplate or anything like that. So you've got total control. If you're some sort of savage and want to make it red, then that's your choice. Underneath the heatsink is the Seagate FireCuda 530. That on its own is a pretty good drive. It's a Gen 4 NVMe SSD that'll give you plenty of performance for most boards out there on the market. Yes, Gen 5 is starting to ship, but those drives are extremely limited and very expensive. The only other major consideration to take into account is the size of the heatsink on this drive. It's pretty beefy. In our rig, we just took off the default manufacturer's heatsink on one of the ports, dropped it in, and we're good to go. Add its power plug in the back for the LEDs, no problem. Depending on your board and where things lay out in your system and where the Gen 4 ports are, perhaps on an older board, there might be a little bit of design consideration. But at the end of the day, this drive is really cool for Star Wars fans. It looks awesome. You're not going to worry about it being Gen 5. You're just going to be thrilled, and the smiles it's going to bring when you power on your rig and you see that lightsaber light up and match with whatever faceplate you've got on and the LED color scheme of your choice. Star Wars fans rejoice. Seagate did this right. It's a phenomenal product. It's priced well too when you consider the LED integration, the heatsink, and the swappable faceplates. Comes in 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte sizes, and it brings you an absolutely wonderful amount of smiles. And everybody knows that those smiles plus LEDs equals FPS, and with this in your system, you're for sure to up your game. We've got a full review on the website. Link will be in the description. We gave this an editor's choice, first editor's choice of this kind of product we've ever given out. We're excited about this drive and think Star Wars fans will be too.